Hey everyone, good morning. It's Admiral Seabass. Welcome to my war room and welcome back to Operation Variation. This is China, turn 9. All right, tech. China is going to try to complete, no, not complete, but they're going to try to advance PGMs, Tech 1. They're going to try to advance AMD, Tech 2, and they're going to try to advance Tech 12, which is Top Gun. So that's a new one that they're going to try to attempt on stage 1. All right. Top Gun needs a 7 or higher. The other two need an 8 or higher. And they all miss. All right. China and Pac Tech Dice. Last couple turns, not been good. All right, purchase. Kind of a fun purchase for China this turn. So, off camera, I forgot to shoot the SRBMs last turn as Soviet Far East Command, and so I rolled off camera some facility strikes, and I managed to get 2 damage on the major airbase in Beijing, and so they're going to use their 2 battle stars to pay that off. They're going to finish the cruiser for 3. They're going to build a paramilitary for 2. Now 3 cruise missiles, 1 anti-ship missile. They're going to build an airborne and an MBT for 5. They're going to repair their damaged amphibious assault ship. And they are going to build an early gen fighter and 2 more MBTs. And these 4 dice are theater release dice. I could have been rolling these for a while, but I had just forgotten. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm not going to use them this turn if we get them, but might use them eventually. Okay, so that's 4 dice for the Soviets possessing all 3 Manchurian land zones. So looking for an 11 or a 12. And there it is. So China is now theater released against the Soviet Far East Command, and I suppose I ought to put a roundel in there in both boxes. Okay, that could come in handy whenever China's ready to go big time. All right, let's go to combat movement. Okay, we will once again be trying to convince Bangladesh to sign a defense treaty with us. And then we'll be attacking once again into North Vietnam. And going into North Vietnam will be everything on this card. So in North Vietnam, defending is a mech and a light infantry. We will be taking in 2 early gen MBTs from Guangxi, 2 early gen fighters from Guangxi, two early gen fighters and a fighter from Zhejiang. And that is it. That's all we'll be bringing in. Okay. Then, and because of that, FEC again will not scramble from South Vietnam. Up here, we'll be shooting a single anti-ship missile again against Taiwan. Okay. And then we have 2 combats up here in the north. Actually 3. First and the simplest, we're shooting a single cruise missile and a surgical strike with SpySat in southern Manchuria. Then we're attacking Inner Mongolia with 3 paramilitary, 2 medium bombers, and an air superiority fighter. That air superiority fighter will come in handy against that attack helicopter. And then we're attacking from western Xinjiang into Uliassutai with a SPAG and 2 light infantry. All right, let's start rolling dice. Can we convince Bangladesh to sign a defense treaty with us. Hey, look at that. That 12 will get it done. So we will put a defense treaty shield there on Bangladesh. All right, we could theoretically give them military aid now and move our own units in. Okay, let's do the battle for North Vietnam. Okay, so there's no first strike. So we will roll, let's see. I can roll the fighter and the 4 early gen fighters all together for China. There's 1 hit, so that'll be the light infantry. And then the 2 early gen MBTs are in mountains, so they're only at a 1. And they both missed. Okay, so the light infantry for the Soviets, that's a hit. So let me mark that. Actually, I should mark it there. And then the mech for the Soviets is also a hit. Ouch. Okay, well, man, that's rough. Okay, so I'll take an early gen MBT, and I got to take 1 of the early gen fighters. Okay. So we'll go to round 2. All right, again, the Chinese aircraft. They all miss. Oh my gosh. Then the early gen MBT misses. All right, Soviet mech. This thing is going to get a shoot at least 2 more times. And there's a hit. Oh boy. Let me think about this. Yeah, we have to keep going. We cannot let China or the Soviets have North Vietnam, especially when they have a massive air force in South Vietnam along with an airborne. So we're going to press it one more time. So here's the Chinese Air Force. Could have used that hit a round ago. All right, and now let's see if the Soviets can go 4 for 4. My gosh. So I lost 3 early gens. Is that right? 3 early gen fighters and an early gen MBT to take North Vietnam. Jeez. Okay. So China up 1, Soviets down 1. All right, that was brutal. Okay, here's the battle for Ulyasatai. I should have assigned an air asset to this battle. In fact, I'm gonna. No, let's play it where it lies. So we can just roll all this at the same time. It's 2 2s against a 2. So yeah, the Spag had to retire. So, all right, here we go. I'll miss. Ah, okay. There's a little luck for the Chinese. They got it done. All right, so the Chinese will take Ulyasatai with a Spag and 2 light infantry. Okay, here's the battle for Inner Mongolia. Let's roll the 2 medium bombers first at 5. They both miss. Let's roll the air superiority fighter at a 5. That misses. And we'll roll the 3 paramilitary at 1s. They all miss. Awesome. Okay, so the Soviet attack helicopter at a 4 misses. The Soviet airborne at a 2 misses. All right, well, let's just do this all over again. Okay, same thing. 2 medium bombers at 5. Both miss. Air superior fighter at 5. There's a hit. That has to be the attack helicopter. Okay. And then the 3 paramilitary at 1s. They all miss. All right. Attack helo at a 4. Misses. Airborne infantry at a 2. Oh my gosh, he got a hit. All right. So we'll lose a paramilitary. He's dead. Now, the attack helicopter, or the the air superiority fighter retires. So 2 medium bombers and 2 paramilitary. So let's roll the medium bombers first in 5. All right, finally got a hit. Let's see if this little punk can get another hit. Nope. All right, so the Chinese will take Inner Mongolia with 2 paramilitary. Okay, last thing I need to roll for is the Chinese cruise missile in southern Manchuria. There's no AMD. Oh, barely missiles. All right, on to non-combat. Okay, non-combat is slightly trickier than I was expecting given my losses in North Vietnam. So this early gen fighter that fought in North Vietnam is actually going to land in southern Yunnan. The fighter that fought in North Vietnam is actually going to land in P-16, and he'll go on the amphibious assault ship that will be repaired at the end of the turn. And then actually, is that is a frigate, is it not? Yeah, 1 frigate is going to come out of port there, like that. And do I want a destroyer out too? Yeah, the destroyer is also going to come out and join the little fleet party here. And the rest will remain in port, I think. Yeah, that's how that's going to go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to roll the anti-ship missile strike against Taiwan. All right, can China get a hit against Taiwan? Nope, rolled a 6 again. Okay, so that's cleaned up. The air superiority fighter will land back in Zhejiang there, as will both of the medium bombers. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Do I have any other non-combat movement with China? We can take these off. I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's place units. So, as we mentioned, the damaged amphibious assault ship will be repaired, and he will serve as the base of operations for that fighter. We'll build the cruiser there at the major shipyard. Okay. And then down here in the southern frontier, we'll build the early gen fighter in Guangxi along with 2 early gen MBTs. We'll build the paramilitary in southern Yunnan. And we will build the early gen MBT and the airborne. Well, we'll build the early gen MBT in eastern Xinjiang, and we'll build the airborne here in Qinghai. Okay, and we're also building 3 cruise missiles and 1 anti-ship missile. All right, let's go to collect income. Okay, for battle stars, we actually got 3. We captured 3 enemy land zones in combat. There's 3 battle stars. We will have a base income of 10. And then bonuses, I think, is the same as last time. So we will have 2 for P-16 and 2 for P-38. It's 4. 1 for Uliassutai. 1 for Laos. 1 for Burma. That's 7. So that is another 17 plus 3 battle stars. cash on hand. So there's 510 is my base, 5, 6, 7 is my bonus. Cash on hand for turn 10. See you then.